Hey, what's up, guys? It's James.
And Ben, finally reunited again.
We've been playing hot potato with the Mandalorian episodes the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Our schedules have been pretty hectic, but we're finally together again. We're going to talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 20, The Foundling, directed by Carl Weathers.
Dylan! You son of a bitch. What's the matter?
Disney
Got
Plus.
you pushing too many pencils?
Greep Karga himself. Ben, what are your initial thoughts on The Foundling?
My initial thoughts were I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than the last episode. I liked the action in it. I loved the callback to Order 66 again. That was probably my favorite part of the whole episode. It was fun. It was decent. I did get a little moany groany just in the beginning because I'm kind of over Baby Yoda. As a rating, I give it a 7.5. I want to give it a 7, but I don't want to be like so generic where I'm just giving every episode like a 7.
Yeah, I
like this one a little bit more than the initial one again because it's quick, it's fast, it's self-contained, it's got some decent action in it, got some pretty cool Star Wars feeling action in it with the lightsabers and the Jedi. I love Jedi. I love seeing Jedi, and they had a great Jedi segment, a great action segment. Not to say that I don't have my issues.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5 out of 10. I'm more nitpicky. I just think this episode felt a squandered opportunity. I mean, we're halfway through the season, and I feel like a lot is not happening. A lot happens visually. You know, you see a lot of Mandalorians and jetpacks and CGI monsters, but I don't think a lot is happening in terms of the developing story. There's not a lot going on emotionally. I'm emotionally bored. Outside of Bo-Katan, who's the closest one to struggling with the whole Mandalorian thing and her joining the cult, other than that, they all seem like NPC characters. There's nothing for them to do in terms of goals or objectives or proving themselves. Mando's already proven himself, redeemed himself to the covert. That's great, but other than being Grogu's dad, what's he doing? What's his end game? What's his goal? Same thing with all the other characters. All these Mandalorian characters in the background are just extras. They never speak. We never get to know their names, and not that we need to know their life story. But it was a missed opportunity to get to know them a little bit, what drives them, what makes them so loyal to this cause.
Yeah.
And I would have fleshed them out more.
You know what bothered me about that was seeing all these Mandalorians, and it only hit me in this episode for some reason, was like, I feel like the Mandalorian the mystique of the Mandalorian people, it's kind of gone.
Yeah.
Like, having so many of them, they're just playing around in the sand, being silly, and you're like, where, like, they're supposed to be, like, these badass, like, terrifying. You're scared. They're battle-hardened. And they're just, like, training, like, little kids camp, like, battle camp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it takes away a lot of, like, damn, Mandalorians used to be really cool. And now I don't really see them like that anymore, just because there's so many of them.
I think a big deal that has to do with that is that some of the designs are really goofy, and two, they're not like the varsity team of Mandalorians. These guys are getting their asses kicked every single time we see them.
Oh my
God. If it ain't a sea monster, it's a flying monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are not the cream of the crop warriors. I just don't see a clear objective for this season. Like, I mean, the trailer kind of hinted that he had to redeem himself.
Yeah. And
then he does it in episode 2.
Yeah.
That's great. Cool. And I thought, wow, we're in for a real surprise of what happens in the next couple of them. And it kind of seems like not much is happening.
So Grogu beats up the other little kid, and then he goes and wallows in shame because then he gets taken off by a giant pterodactyl. It was pretty cool, though. The monster itself was neat.
Yeah.
It was weird, though. Like, he gets taken away. We found out later that that's Paz Vizsla's son, or foundling that he has, adopted son. Who knows? We don't know. But he gets taken away. They can't follow for very long, and then Bo chases him. But then she comes back, and she's like, I found its home, guys. We're going to go take it out. And I'm like, bro, he's dead. He's dinner, bro. He got ate on the way over there. He was a snack on to get home. And I was just so confused. I was like, okay, I guess that thing's just not going to eat him.
That pretty much ruined the whole episode for me. And I know it's sci-fi. And this is a made-up animal. They can make up their own rules on how it eats, how long it takes. But for me, a guy who studies predators and, birds of prey, that kid would have been crushed by the legs as soon as he picked him up.
Or something. And not only are you left to, like, wonder if it ate the kid or not, it did eat the kid. It just didn't digest the kid, which doesn't make any sense either. I don't know, dude.
By the way, it had chicks, so why wouldn't she rip off a leg and feed it to one, and rip off the head and feed it to the other?
Yummy.
Obviously, it's Disney. They don't want to show. They get there and just human bones in a pile of shit.
I mean, they should have.
The next day, they come up with a plan. They get a rescue party going with Din, Paz, Bo, a couple of background Mandos.
We got NPCs.
They're off the next day to get to the raptor's nest. In the meantime, the armorer takes in Grogu, and she makes a little armor plating for his chest called a rondelle, and it has the Mudhorn signet, just like his dad on his shoulder.
But yeah, and then while she's making it, he's having flashbacks to Order 66. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea that was Jar Jar Binks doing all that. Also, Ahmed Best.
Yeah.
I knew he looked kind of familiar, but I just saw a tweet about it, and I was like, oh shit, that was him. So that's cool. Good for him. He had a great little segment there, being a Jedi and using his lightsaber to deflect and kill clone troopers. I thought it was really neat.
His name's Kelleran, the Jedi's name. So the rescue party gets to the outcropping, the foot of the hill where the dragon has its nest, and they make a little fire there. And I've said it many times, I'm a sucker for a good campfire scene. And it started off pretty interesting, and you see how they eat. We finally figured out how they eat without them showing each other's faces. Apparently they just go hide in a little somewhere dark and eat their little crackers. It ends there, and I kind of was like, well, I thought we were going to get a little development here. To me, it was a missed opportunity, because we could have gotten to know a little bit more about Paz Vizsla. Is it his biological son? Is it his foundling he found? Make him a little bit more human than just the bully of the group, the guy that's always giving Mando grief. Could have gotten to know a couple of the Mandalorian background, the NPCs, the extras. We don't have to know everything about them, but when did they join? Why are they so loyal to the Mandalorians? Were they rescued by them? Something. Just a couple of sentences here and there for them to get to know each other, kind of bond, and then us as the audience, we kind of start caring more about them. I think this would have been a great moment for Paz to reveal that that's his kid that was taken.
Yeah, true,
right there around the fire. Kind of being a little vulnerable around the campfire, getting to know each other. Mando and Paz could have bonded a little bit about fatherhood. And, I've been there before. True. My son was taken. I'm with you to the end till we rescue him. Like, I promise you.
They're all, it's so funny because they all just, get their food and they're like, all right, he's like, how are we supposed to eat without taking our helmets off? They're like, we just go hide somewhere where no one can see us and take our helmet off. They're like, what?
Yeah, that was just... I suppose it's the logical thing, but it came out just a little goofy. What if someone walks by?
Yeah, or comes back early. Yeah. Like, all right, I'm done.
Oh, fuck, bitch, I'm still leaving. Yeah, dude, what if there's
hold on, Mom, I don't have my helmet on. Don't come in yet.
Yeah, it's is it like when you open the door and someone in the restroom, we jump over to the next day, they're scaling up the mesa. There, they see it's a nest with 3 little baby raptor dragon things, and they're off to rescue him. And we see the mother dragon just pukes up the kid. How long has that kid been in her gullet? 2 days? Wouldn't he have died of, lack of oxygen?
Yes.
Wouldn't the stomach acids have started, to burn his skin? No, he comes out dry. He didn't even come out all
I didn't even notice that.
I was like, where's the saliva? Where's no, he was fine.
Wow, I didn't even pay attention to that.
And there's references. It's not the first time this dragon's attacked him. You do see a helmet in the nest, and it's like, so he's attacked you guys before, and you guys didn't bother to go take care of him. You didn't secure your perimeter,
or have some kind of defense up, or alarm ready for when he comes in. How do you not see that thing approaching?
I can forgive simple peasants being, at the mercy of the wildlife. But you guys are Mandalorians.
Bro.
You guys have armor and weapons. I'm sure you guys have ships. That was a little goofy. He's done this before, and you're not going to act upon it until it's this guy's kid, the leader's kid.
And you get Mandalorian with his little action shot catching the kid.
Yeah.
Or was it Paz? No, it was Mando, right?
They're all passing them here and there. It's this aerial chase with their jetpacks. I thought that was
cool. Yeah, that was some fun action.
Bo really proves herself, and in the process, she drops one of her shoulder pads.
I thought you were gonna like that a lot too. I like that a lot. That it's like a video game. You lose armor, you get new armor. Mm-hmm. So now she got a new armor piece with what was it on it?
Mythosaur.
The Mythosaur on it. Yeah. So because she's seen it, and I like that part at the end. That part at the end where she's like, I've seen it, but there's zero payoff to it because the armor just kind of shrugs it off. She's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's did you? Cool. Maybe she didn't believe.
She's like, this is the way. All right. There should be she should have armor should just dropped everything and been like, I'm sorry, what?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
right now?
where? You gotta fucking spill the beans, bro. But no, she's just no. Okay, that's cool. Great. That's good for you. Good for you.
Yes. What? Yes, definitely. That was my favorite scene because once again, Bo-Katan seems to be the only remotely interesting character in this season.
Super cool.
And she finally reveals this secret she's been holding, and the armor's just like, this is the way.
Yeah,
Like,
which we have as an audience, we're like, we saw it with her, so we're like holding the secret in with her. So like when she releases it, we're like, yes, like she told somebody, expecting some kind of response, and we get like nothing, and it was just very weird.
Did you not hear me?
Bitch, I said I saw a mythosaur.
it could have ended a little bit more interesting, an emotional payoff. Like,
Well, it's because like you want it to lead into the next episode, right? Like that doesn't leave us with anything.
it's no different than the beginning.
Yeah,
Before
exactly.
she said anything.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing changed, dude.
How are you gonna drop that bombshell? This is the way, and she continues upon her fucking daily duties.
Mm-hmm.
That was just
Very odd.
Yeah, it's just like the buildup just deflates.
So the last thing we just missed was the baby birds. They capture the three little baby birds, and they like they're gonna keep them, I guess. So just like Boba Fett and his Rancor, we're gonna have Mandalorians riding around on these 3 birds eventually. My final thoughts for this episode was pretty good. Like I said, I gave it a 7.5. It's a decent episode, but as we pointed out, there are just these oversights and like odd choices that we can't ignore. But for the most part, I did just enjoy this simple, self-contained episode. It had some really cool Star Wars moments in it. Bo-Katan's great. The Order 66 flashback was great. Everything else, I could give or take. I don't really care. I'm kind of over Baby Grogu. I'm getting over him being a baby. I want him to grow up. I need Mando to have some kind of objective. Like you said, it's missing that emotional pull. So right now, Bo is the reason to watch the show.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, for me, I just think that this season is so disjointed. It almost feels like there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen instead of having one central vision. This season is just not very cohesive.
Yes,
it's
not
just
at
all over the place, and I think it possibly was rushed. You know, they're trying to make these Disney Plus deadlines. It needs to be up on air at this, in the early quarter of 2023, and that's most likely affecting the quality of the show. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like you were saying, it's not a bad episode. Plenty of action happens if you want to see Mandos flying jetpacks and monsters. Mm. But emotionally, nothing is interesting. We knew that kid wasn't going to die. So what are the stakes? Not trying to be negative, guys. I'm trying my best not to. I'm trying to enjoy what there is to enjoy. But honestly, this season is definitely very weak. Outside of episode 2, which I thought was fantastic, and Bo-Katan is like the most interesting character of the season. Other than that, I mean,
we're almost over it.
Yeah, we're halfway through the season.
Yeah.
We are halfway through the season, and there's been very little payoff.
Hopefully, the next episode is got a cohesive story, something that like grabs us. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, we get some through lines going and some fire. Get the fire stoking in the next episode. Something needs to happen. Somebody needs to be introduced. Bring Gideon back. Bring the Darksaber back into the picture. Something, guys.
You just brought up an excellent point. Mando is in a tribe right now. Mm. He has the Darksaber in his fucking hip. How is no one like, holy shit, how is no one fanboying about it? How is no one like, this guy's our leader? True. How is that not causing some kind of friction within the power structure?
That could have been an argument in the campfire scene on the side. Yeah. While they were walking away from the fire, they could have been like, hey man, that dude's got the saber. Maybe we should try and get it from him.
Something.
Yeah, like something interesting.
Are you really walking around this culture that worships that thing?
It's an artifact.
And no one, it's like no one notices, no one knows what it is.
Yeah.
Like what?
That's true.
That would have been that's a great storytelling thing. That's gonna make enemies. That's gonna make people blindly loyal to you. It's gonna kind of, you're throwing a wrench into the situation, the status quo. Excellent fucking point that they haven't addressed. Honestly, this should have been called The Mandalorian, The Missed Opportunity. Thank you guys for joining us. This is going to be somewhat of a short episode. Let us know, chime on down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know if you really enjoyed it and we're just being overly nitpicky. Are we spoiled and we just expect perfection every single time? Let us know. Let us know what you liked about it or didn't like about it.
Give this video a like, comment, subscribe for more, and we'll be back next week with another review, guys. Thank you again so much for watching.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next week.